My skin is black.
What you looking
My
at?
skin is black.
I feel so good to be black right now.
Black.
What you looking at?
Okay, welcome to episode 40 of the Black and Fashion podcast. Yes, for episode 40. So, this episode is actually sponsored by Serenade Apparel. It's a men's and women's streetwear brand inspired by the rose that grew from the concrete. Serenade Apparel celebrates everyone's damaged petals, knowing that these concrete restraints cannot refrain us from blossoming into our full potential. Through art, design elements, and concepts, we use the streets as a muse and embrace our journey from the ground up. So for today's episode, you can use the code The Roses for 15% off their new collection, The Re-Up, and merch from their scholarship initiative, Heartbeat of the Streets. That's what I'm wearing today. Heartbeat of the Streets collection. Hood rich.
Okay.
So we're going to get right in. Today's guest, I have Brandi Reshee.
Hello.
She's a fashion enthusiast, influencer, stylist, blogger, all of the above. Sis is snatched.
Aw, thank you.
Brandi,
Thank you.
why don't you tell, actually, I like to do a little segment first starting off called It's a Look.
Okay.
So if there's anyone in the media this week that you felt like just slayed, why? Who is it and why?
This week, I've been kind of out of. When was the Diddy party? Because that's
We can use that.
We can count that. I feel like a lot of people came out and killed it, but Beyonce blew me away for some reason. I just loved her whole look. I feel like she still looked like she was 22. Like she was just natural, but then she gave like this subtle glam, that high split, the structured cutout detail of her dress was just like amazing. And a lot of celebrities at that party actually looked amazing. And I love how Diddy did this. I think he collaborated with Vanity Fair, his photographer. They did to where they did like a real deal editorial shoot at the party. So that was like dope, because everybody left that party with like
Photos.
solid ones. Like it wasn't no iPhone's blurry picture, the club picture that you gotta chase the dude down for your it was like editorial. And so I think that was a look that I remember. I reposted that look because I was just like, yo, and then she did like a little shoot. She always does a shoot before,
she
whatever.
always like
And she gave like a
serving.
whole. She was serving on that, so that was my look. for that week.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, Beyonce. All right, so let's jump right in. Tell us a little bit about like your background, how you got into fashion, and well, yeah, let's start with that. Let's start with where you're from, how that, what happened during your childhood to make you want to go more on like the fashion road, and like what inspired you and like motivated you to take like the glam route, fashion glam route.
So from the start, I'm from Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. Shout out to the city.
Shout out to this.
I love my
Bryson Tiller is from there, right?
Bryson's from there. It's a lot of people from Louisville that is kind of like low key. It's like but yeah, I grew up being very like visual and creative, and in my own extent. And I remember my mother always tells me this when I was graduating from pre-K. Okay, this is how long I knew I wanted to do something crazy.
Pre-K, yes.
Pre-K, 4 years old, and crossing the stage, and everybody was reaching in his crate to grab like doctor's hats, fireman hats, and whatever. I want to be a fireman, and I grabbed a comb. And I was like, when I grow up, I want to be a beautician.
Love it.
So, and it's funny because I did hair growing up. I was just always trying to create and reinvent like looks for myself at an early age. So by the time I was 12, 13, I was braiding hair, like literally hands down was like the coldest braid in the city. And because my designs were just so different or whatever, I was just super creative with that. And again, in Louisville, there wasn't a lot of access to a lot of just the idea of fashion and an industry, to say the least. So me just creating my own look as I was between my early teens up until I was in college, I think I just kind of created my own kind of lane for myself. And I didn't know that it was fashion until, like I said, when I went to school, there was a major program for design, merchandising, and textiles. So I'm like,
what school?
I went to Western Kentucky. So I was still in Kentucky, and it was in Bowling Green.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, like this is perfect. And I'm taking sewing classes. I'm participating in the school fashion shows. And that's when I was like, okay, this is dope. This is what you live, breathe, and are comfortable with at most. So I knew that I needed to get to New York some way, somehow.
Love it. So how long ago did you move to New York?
I moved to New York. It'll be 5 years in June.
Nice.
I moved away from home, though, about 8.5 years ago. So I lived in Maryland and in the D.C. area.
Okay.
First. And then it was just like a transition space. I have family there. And it was just like perfect transition, being that I had never even been to New York from Kentucky. So,
did you like visit first, or did you just come?
I visited a couple times for sure. I used to come to Fashion Week every year, every season from DC. So I would participate in Fashion Week, and then I had my cousin Brooke lived in Harlem, so I would come up to visit her before I moved here, and I would stay there. That was really where I wanted to live, like
Harlem.
Girl.
That is the first time I ever visited New York. I went to Harlem. I was visiting a friend, and as soon as I got here, I was like, "Yo, I need to live here." Like and my friend stayed on like on 126th and Lenox. So it was like right in the heart of everything. And he actually was working, so I got a chance to like explore the city by myself. So I was just walking around Harlem, like I'm here. I love it. I got drunk at Sylvia's by myself. I was sitting at the bar eating chicken and macaroni and cheese. I'm like, this is everything. That's how I felt. And then I'm like, yo, I'm gonna move here. And that's what I knew. I didn't come until like 3 years later, but that moment, I was still in school when that happened. So I was in my senior year of college, but I knew at that moment that I was going to move here. Like I just like that's it.
Yeah, and that's what New York does to you. Like I feel like
shout out to Harlem. She's like, I'm from Harlem. Hey. Shout out to Harlem.
Harlem's where my heart is, man.
Right?
There's just so much like energy and culture that like it's but yeah, that's how it is. You come here for your first time or your first couple of visits, and it's like the energy here is like crazy, where you're like, okay, I don't even know how this is about to happen, but I'm about to just pull up.
I'm about to just make it happen. Fact. So do you recommend that like people go like to school for like fashion merchandising or styling, or do you think it's just something you just got to get out there and just like do?
I think that no matter, it's good to always, learning is always very important, just more detail, especially when you get in the industry, just understanding terms and the business of it all. But I always say, like, you know, style or a creative eye is something that you just kind of have or you don't. I feel like you can learn the latest trends and trend forecast and all the detail behind fashion and what magazines are this and what celebrities that. But if you just don't naturally have an eye to where if all of that was wiped away from you and you had to create, if you don't have that, then that's the key component to really making it. So I don't think that you per se have to go to school for it, but I think it's necessary to educate yourself in some way.
Gotcha.
But no, because I've seen people that went to law school and then excelled in the fashion industry just because they just have that natural niche for what it is to create. Yeah. School is expensive, and I don't encourage anybody not to go to school, but it's like,
I think we live in a creative world, in a creative space. Then honestly, I do feel like your network is your net worth. Like a lot of them, I feel like things that I've accomplished and stuff like that had absolutely nothing to do with school.
Yeah,
like, I mean, you can educate yourself without school.
Without
for sure.
school.
Like that's the key. And like knowledge and education is key, but it doesn't have to be like in the traditional like classroom setting.
Flat out. Like,
sure.
And we're not encouraging nobody not to go to school. Do your thing, get your education, but it's not just like
that's not the only
way.
way.
Only way. There are definitely other ways. If you got hustle, drive, and and you're just determined to get to what it is that you, and a clear vision for what you want, you know, I think you can get there, and you just have to be persistent. I'm learning these things now, you know, being more persistent with the, like you said, with the network of people that you have around you, you know, just making sure that, okay, if you want that and you know somebody that's doing that, you know, communicate with them and, you know, try to learn from them.
Absolutely.
So
what are like your rules to, like, when it comes to like dress and styling? Like, do you have something that you live by, or it's just like more like of a feeling? Like, how do you get dressed like for the day?
It's literally a feeling. I promise you. Like, I have realized that, like, if I was to come up with like a quick hashtag for my style, I would say I am a sporty belle.
I like that.
I'm like the sporty belle because it's like,
I like that.
You
sporty
like
belle.
it?
Yeah.
Because it's like, I love sneakers and hats and snapbacks and that. I love hats and just urban wear, like super athletic urban wear. But at the same time, oh, you can read that from all the way back here? I need to grab my glasses.
Always was main student of the game.
There we go.
Okay.
But at the same time, I love that's the Kentucky girl in me. I love skirts and my phone's leaning on a big top hat right now. I love skirts and hats and poofy sleeves. I got some lace gloves in my purse. You just never know what I'm gonna pull out on you, honey.
It's Sunday, baby.
You know, we got
taking us to church with the gloves and the hat. Love it.
I'm going to brunch afterwards, and I got to be ready, honey. So, I think it's my style is really a collaboration of both. So one day I might be straight up all sporty, like hoodie, hat, sneakers, drop crotch, Japanese pants, and then another day I might be super elegant, classy. So I really don't. I think there's no true layout. I think today I'm neutral. And usually people who know the way I dress, I'm always very colorful. I wear like bright colors all year round, neon green. And that may be just based on a mood. Like, do I want to be like that? Or do I want to just be chill? I'm giving Yeezy, or am I giving, who does bright colors? I don't know who does bright colors. But who can I think of?
Tiana Taylor back in the day, she was always do the bright colors.
Tiana Taylor's aesthetic is like literally the way, that's like I said, she's fly as heck. But that's me all day. Like I love like big hair, hat. I just left the Brooklyn Circus. Have you ever heard of Brooklyn Circus?
Yeah, because we gave them an award.
Yeah, of course. I'm tripping.
At Fashion 500.
Like,
at BK Circus.
This is the one that announced her. She probably went past me in the award. Shout out to Ouija.
I think I did. Definitely did. I'm like,
Do you know? Of course. I went. He did an event last night, like a holiday. The varsity, just like curated around the varsity jacket. Oh my gosh, his stuff is so dope. Like,
I haven't been to the store yet, but I need to. I know I need to go. It's on my to-do list.
Anybody
Black in fashion.
Yeah, black in fashion. Okay, yes. Tune in. You gotta go. Like his stuff is, the quality is flat out amazing, and it's just like,
and I
perfect.
see stuff from his pictures and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, this is dope. And I did like a impromptu interview at the show, because you know when people were supposed to coming in, I'm like, send them on this side, let me do like these little 10-minute interviews, and he was just talking about like, I'm always here to create controversy. That's what he said. That's what he said. I was just like, I like that. Yeah, let's be controversial.
Let's go. I love it.
It's a moment.
I love it. Yeah, we got to go check it out. We can do a little Brooklyn field trip.
We should. Now, I wanted to ask you, like from your Instagram, I would say you are a fashion influencer, like an influencer. So, what's the difference between like a fashion influencer and like a model? Because I feel like you're both, or like they're like one and the same.
Yeah, I think an influence. I'm really trying to figure it all out. Let me just stop there and say I don't even know, because at one point I was very like behind the scenes more so. I've always posted pictures of myself, but now I think it's more so I'm just my own brand in totality. So it's like I model the looks that I put together, or if it's a brand that I'm working with, because I'm comfortable enough to do so. And then also I think But influencer, I always feel like an influencer, I mean, they usually getting paid. They like focus more on getting paid for product collaborations, whereas, you know, I mean, it's all the same. I feel like an influence, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. It could be a difference. I
think we all trying to figure out that influencer.
A blogger is this. A, you know, model is this. But I feel like it's all under one umbrella.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how do you make money from it, or can you make money from it? Like, is it like a lucrative like position to be in, like as an influencer?
I think that again, I'm building that platform to start getting like paid contracts where I am making money for it right now. I really am just kind of building my own brand, showcasing my work. I do work with
high school.
I did go to. Who is that?
I'm looking at your comments.
I know I suck with live, y'all. I'm sorry. I ain't even looking over her. I'm looking at her live more than mine. I'm sorry.
I'm looking at yours too.
Girl, I can't even see. I lost my glasses when I was at home last time.
Jackets from BK Circus. Oh yeah. Like,
Thank you.
Yeah, I glance over there every now and then, but like sometimes.
Well, you gonna have to read both. You gonna have to read both of them because I can't see, girl.
Yeah.
I put on some lashes today. These things feel like they heavy. It's just not.
I feel you. I'm in hibernation.
Sis is getting ready for the B-Day turn up.
Yeah. I'm in hibernation. I got them whatever.
And still cute.
Yeah. So you're working towards like getting contracts and stuff like that with brands. So do you think that for designers that it's beneficial to work and partner with like fashion enthusiasts and bloggers, and so that maybe they can get another outlet as far as like styling and like other avenues of I guess like visibility, like for their brand.
I think it's good too. I also know that there's a fine line between, you know, an influencer taking advantage of a designer because they, you know, have a certain amount of followers, so they just, you know, oh, I'm only doing this if it's free, this or whatnot. And I feel like being that I am about to be, because 2020 is about to be lit, and I hate it. I'm not really like a person that's like, oh, next year, but I've really got to it's 2020 visions just hit me different.
Oh, yeah, it's coming
and it's
through.
just a time of my life, too, where I'm like, girl, you got to make this thing pop. So it's like, but in this upcoming year, I do have a lot of things, like from doing like podcasts, setting up, working up my web pages, getting, you know, in the process right now and trying to format it to the, not perfection, but to at least a good start up.
To the Brandi Reshee.
Yeah.
Standards.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will be having, like I said, working with this one here. We're going to have a little line and everything, a clothing line out. And I really feel like I would love to work with influencers and people who have a certain name, but at the same time they can't just you can't just say, oh, I'm gonna wear your stuff, but you just gotta give it to me, because I put a lot of money and hard work into creating these pieces, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, really, my stuff is gonna be so fly, it ain't gonna do nothing but like boost your stuff up a little bit more too, you know? So let's meet halfway. Like, I understand that, you know, you do have a large following per se, so the visibility could be there, but let's do like a wholesale price or whatever. It doesn't always have to be just given away, you know? And that's the only thing that, but I do think that, you know, putting your clothing on somebody with a bigger platform, it brings new people, because they have people that just follow their every move. And let me not do stuff with my nails.
No, I do it all the time.
I'm
always in here like, look.
It's like,
why is this cup right here?
Trying to make a cameo.
Right, I'm always like, listen. No, you fine.
But no, I think it's necessary, but I think there are certain boundaries and certain things to be understood in the process of creating that new relationship with an influencer and a brand.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which is why I'm just building that's why I'm trying to build my following and everything to a nice point to where when I do start dropping it at heat, when I put it on, you need to know that it's something to go grab. You don't gotta wait to see it on the who's and the what's what, because guess what? She's the what's what.
Facts. I love that. So far, I have like another segment that I like to do. It's called "It's a Success, It's a Disaster."
Okay.
Actually, It's a Success, It's a Disaster segment is sponsored by 620 Style.
Okay.
620 Style is a contemporary luxury brand. Everything is manufactured right here in New York City. It's very glamorous. Make sure you guys go and check out 620 Style. She is the queen of the flare pants. She got the flare with flare. She got all the dope wide leg pants, and they're always accompanied by like a matching set. This is lit. Okay, so that will be in the show comments. And shout out to 620 Style, and you can use promo code Black Fashion to get an extra 20% off of your purchase this holiday season. So it's a disaster or it's a success. It could be either one, but something that, you know, you've had to either learn the hard way, but at the end of the day, you learned something from it, whether it was a bad experience or a good experience so far in your fashion career that you like really learned something from.
Okay. Okay, you know what? Just because this was my best friend just sent me this post yesterday and was like, no. And I'm like, and this is the second time this has happened. This isn't really like something that I've done. It's more so something that I didn't do, but I've had it in my head and I've had the vision for probably about 5 years probably.
Okay.
And it's so crazy. And how do I start this? I initially created this idea that I want to do photo shoots and I want them to be like, I ain't gonna give out the detail because I can still do it. But the bottom line is I had this vision to do a shoot with the Miss Parker theme, right?
Miss Parker.
Yeah, from
Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I wanted to do like a high fashion Miss Parker scene.
Okay.
And with like a fly model, I don't know if I was gonna do shorts. I literally had the vision clear as day, like a dope gingham print shirt that was, you know, the whole little red and like how I think her shirt was red and black, like tied in a knot, and I was gonna have that, but I wanted
grass.
She didn't have no grass. She was
watering that dirt.
She was watering that hood path. You know, that little hood path to the store, the little dirt. She was.
Or you gotta find somebody yard that's jacked up.
I was gonna find I was even debating if it was gonna be in front of an actually house or if I was just gonna do, you know, like the green wall, like it was gonna be like a set.
Okay.
And just have the model super high fashion though, but dressed like in the field to where when you look at it you would get the image, but it was gonna be like super high fashion. Gotcha. And it was just a simple idea, right? But I remember talking about this with my best friend. She's just like, dog, do it, you gotta do it. And again, just thinking that the idea is only in your head and it'll be there, and it's just like you realize over time, you know, us as creatives, we still, and I learned this from my friend Janelle, the Working Beauty. I think she changed her Instagram name, but you know I'm talking about working. But anyway, we and her had a conversation, and it's like us creatives, no matter how much of an idea is so individualized, we all pull from the same ether. And and when I say that, it's like a space in the world where all of our thoughts as a creative people, they're similar. Like, so you might think like only you thought of this idea, but somebody else might have thought it had the exact same vision, but in a different texture, a different color or whatever. And it's like the main thing that you got to do is put that out there and be, you know, it's necessary for you to get it out there first so that at least you've done it, because you start beating yourself up. And that's where I'm leading to with this. It's a disaster because the girl Milano, the girl from Philly, the brand Milano, and I love everything she's doing. I think her brand is dope. I think it's dope how she's built it up and everything. And she just did a shoot with the Miss Parker theme. And the chicks watering the grass and in the little set. And my best friend sent me the thing like, no. And I'm like, but
well, everybody, side note, the Milan, I didn't know who she was until yesterday. Legit.
Okay.
And the whole room that I was in was pissed because supposedly she had a baby by me, and I was like, oh.
So is she? Is it
I
Meek's
baby?
That's
what she's in the room.
I just found out she was pregnant too. Well, she just let it out, but I seen it
Yeah, I'm like,
last
side note,
night.
everybody in the room was like, fuck. So that same that same expression you just had
Yours
with
for
the
a
threads
whole-
where it's like, fuck, he having a baby by her. Thought I was going to be his next baby.
He was planning to be the that's a little spicy mommy. So, but like I said, I think that was a big lesson for me. And to be honest, that was the second time, because I also had a vision one day to do Janet Jackson's cover of I think it's Pleasure Prince, the one where the red background and she had that big side ponytail and she had like the squiggle around her, and I had to find
Is it from the Velvet Rope, like in the time when she was doing that album?
Girl, I want to say it was a Pleasure Principle.
Oh, it's older than that.
It's an old one, because I remember I was listening to it on my way to work, and I was looking at the album cover, and I was like, I'm gonna redo this. And guess who did it? Angela Simmons. She had a little moment where she recreated Beyonce's album cover, Janet. When I saw it, it was like, it was like
Halloween? Okay.
like sometime last year, and I remember like screaming, because so that was the first time that I had that moment, and that's when I'm realizing, okay, but I look at it all as a lesson. It's not really like, I don't want to be too frustrated about it, because it's like, okay, well, at least you were ahead of the time, because you had these ideas way before they was actually executed by these people, but they actually executed, so bravo to them. You know,
Right,
you got to
absolutely.
give the credit to people when they actually put it to, you can't get mad at people you can't be like, that was my idea. Okay, what did you do it?
Facts. True.
No, so I got to look at myself like, B, well, did you do it? No. So next thing that I have in my mind is getting done.
Facts.
ASAP. That was
Claim
like,
it, and that's 2020. Like
That's
everything
it.
that I do, I'm gonna make a way, and I'm just gonna do it
straight up.
straight like that. So far, like with all the different like designers and like projects that you've worked on, what would you say for you was like your favorite, and you feel like it embodied you the most as a brand?
Well, honestly, I think one of my favorite projects that I did is a long time ago, because it's funny, since I've been in New York, I haven't really done as much. I'm a buyer for a boutique, assistant buyer for a boutique, and I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff now, which it's fun, but it's not. I want to be more
On the
out.
scene.
Yeah. But I think that one of my favorite projects that I worked on was I did pretty much kind of like the creative directing for a Raheem Devon video.
Oh,
Back when
Which
I was
one?
in DC. It was called Pink Crush Velvet? It's
Crush Velvet.
And it was, I remember Six Shooter pulled me in to style that video, and every time I used to get pulled and get hired on for those videos, I would always end up it'd be like, okay, we got 4 models. I end up styling probably 12 models. One time I was supposed to style 4 models. I literally I put 13 chicks in outfits.
wow.
But that came with me just coming over prepared, and luckily I was able to do it. But that video shoot, it was just a lot of fun, because I was able to really just be creatively free. Like he, let me know the concept of the video. I assisted, Raheem's stylist had sent his looks, but I kind of assisted putting his looks together, so I was styling him, as well as getting props for the whole set for the video. I'm getting Pink Crush Velvet blankets, cupcakes, candy.
I love it.
It was just like I helped set the vibe for it, and that was amazing. Like I really, really, to this day, like I feel like that is a moment that I need to top, because I just felt good leaving that shoot, having that much creative freedom. So
Gotcha. So out of all the avenues, I guess, which is your favorite? Well, I guess like you styling. So that's you being behind the scenes. You're buying. That's you being behind the scenes. And then it's like being the influencer blogger, whereas you are like right in the front. So I feel like they all work like kind of hand in hand. But like, which one would you say is like top tier for you?
I'm learning more now that I think the forefronts is more where I'm more comfortable. I think I love to I can totally do the behind the scenes thing without a question easily, but I think I'm just very passionate about trying to spread knowledge, educating the youth, the next generation. I think that I have to be on the forefront. I have to put my face out there and give my testimony and talk about the things that the experiences that I've had, being positive or negative, and just being, like I said, on the front line. I think that's the part that gives me the most pleasure, because I love to talk to people.
So you need to be in the spotlight.
Yes, hi, LaTonya. That's my godmother. I love like that. Her right there. Hi.
Right there.
That is my heart. Yeah, and I guess I need to be in the spotlight. Okay. Yeah, I think I realized for so long of being behind the scenes, I like kind of shied away from my natural, like I can't help what energy I put out, and people gravitate. So it's like, if people gravitate to me and want to hear what I'm talking about and are interested, then I need to make sure that I utilize that platform and tell all that I know about style, fashion. Just sometimes it's just not even about that. It's just about instilling confidence into, like I said, the young girls. That's really what I'm so passionate about, which is like my overall goal is to have like a graffiti face, LLC, branded foundation where I'm like, I got a program for the up and coming youth to just teach them about just how confidence is from, it's not about the exterior. It's just because you look well, you cannot, sometimes not feeling well on the inside, it dims all of that. So you got to feel good from the inside. And it just, I think being around other people who have experienced things like you have, just kind of makes you, when you have a testimony, it just makes you feel better about opening up. And a lot of talk right now is about like mental health, and I love that our community and our culture is starting to be more open about it and more aware of it. Because I know I wasn't. I just would just be like, I never really dealt with a lot of stuff, but I just think in my, like you said, what they say, break the generational curses.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of times you see your mom just push through whatever versus like really taking care of what it may be, and then so you grow up thinking, I just got pushed through, and it's like, no, talk to somebody and see.
Absolutely.
So just, I think the forefront is gonna be my, like, going at it full out though. Like,
gotcha. So on the back end, do you feel like it was harder to get into buying? Because I've been working in this industry for a long time, and I never really see buyers, black buyers, ever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a lot. When I go to the trade shows and go to Coterie and DNA, it's like me and then everybody else, But I think there are a lot more now. I think it's not, well, for me, it probably is harder. I think I transitioned into buying through a already established boutique. So we already had a lot of relationships with a lot of brands, Italian brands, French brands, Japanese brands, to where when I get pulled into our buying meetings, our appointments, it's not like, oh, who is she? It's like I'm introduced, like, oh, this is my assistant buyer, Brandi. And so now, going forward, when I go to these showrooms or whatnot, I already have the leeway. But I think I would imagine it being a little hard. I remember one time I went to a trade show, and sometimes when I go to check on the brands that were, potential future brands that we're looking to pick up, I may go look at the brand after my boss, after she already went to see it or whatnot, and I'm just following up to just do the final assessment. And it was a brand out of Atlanta. It was a jewelry company or something. Mm-hmm. And they didn't know my face, right? Mm-hmm. And so I walk up and I'm just like, I introduced myself, but no, I didn't even get a chance yet. I went and I just was looking at the pieces or whatnot. And when you go to the booth, you don't have to, like, most of the time they busy with somebody else. And I'm looking, and then I felt like I was being watched. I was like, y'all don't even know that y'all want to be in our store, and I can shut out, and it did shut it all down, because when I went back and so after I'm like walking around looking at everything, just, I'm very respectful when I'm there, and they just like, they just hit me with,
can I help you?
Like the agent in the hair store that just following, hurry up and buy. They was giving me that vibe. I was like,
Hurry up and
so they came up. So they like kind of follow me around the booth. And then he's like, well, who are you here with? And I'm like, okay. So
I can't be, because I'm black, I can't be here for representing what I, you know what? I would have smacked the
So right,
Asian man.
He wasn't though. He was like a white, but he was white man in Atlanta.
Just automatically thought that she was with somebody else. Like you couldn't be buying for your own fucking store.
But you got to keep in mind too, if he's in Atlanta, he's still the South. You know, white people down there, they still be kind of a little racist. They ain't quite lost it. Right, a lot. Exactly. I was being modest.
You gotta be modest.
So he was
black in fashion.
Okay, yes, racist in a mug.
Right.
So, because I really think that's what it was. You know, they come up to New York, where New York is a melting pot. Black chick is everywhere. First of all, we bosses everywhere, all around. But you can see, you know, you're gonna see a little more diversity in these type of environments. So for him to walk up and be like, who you here for? And so then I'm like, actually, I'm here with Moulet. I'm the assistant buyer. I was just coming to follow up on the collection. How are you? Oh, and then it was so weird that the energy just changed.
I bet.
Meanwhile, mine changed too. All of a sudden, I was just like, and I went and gave the report, and me and Beach she was like, forget them. They act like that with you. We don't need their brand, and we did not even pick it up. So
exactly, and you never know who you're talking to.
You never know.
I've been to like my fair share of trade shows, but I'm not looking for wholesale clothes. I usually go to like sourcing trade shows, so I'm looking at fabrics and stuff like that. I get the same thing, but like, I am a buyer though. I am is that I'm not just buying for my collection. I'm buying for a salute of
collection.
Okay. Okay.
Right, so you need to be nice because I'm
you
ready
need to be
to
nice.
rack up.
Exactly.
I'm not just buying for a collection. I'm loading up. Like you are literally loading up.
I'm trying to get a connect with you and like try to build these relationships because this is for me is an ongoing business. So, but when I mark them off, I'm like, because you know they give you the little brochures. I will scratch your shit out in a minute. Don't even worry about it.
Next.
Don't need your fabric. It probably was all polyester.
It was
anyway.
probably
It's
poly.
fine. And I'm fine with poly because, you know, there's a lot of technos and like it's a man-made so it works. But it's like at the end of the day, don't judge me for the way I look.
Period.
And that's what that's essentially what this podcast is about. It's so many of us.
So many of us.
It's everywhere.
Everywhere. Don't get it twisted. I'm sorry. I keep looking over.
I'm looking at my sister is requesting to be in.
Where is this?
I don't know if I can see if I can know how to do that.
I think
you got a question. How you do that?
It'll do. Yeah, I think like that.
I'm like, oh, sis must got a question. Just throw it in there. But yeah, okay. So you've done like a lot of, yeah. You might not. No, I can hear you though. Say something.
Hello.
Yeah, you good.
Okay.
You still fine. So would you do styling on like movie and like video shoots and stuff like that? Do you feel like that's a hard avenue to get into? Like you gotta like know someone in order to even get pulled into these type of opportunities?
Yeah, I think that is. It's so funny you say that because that's another thing that I'm into everything. You know, whichever one pop off, we gonna roll with it. But costume design and set design, I love that whole concept, and I think there's like almost like a union to get into. Once you kind of get into that whole union of like to where you're on a list of like a call list for this shoot. Like it's
like a stylist union.
It's like I'm correct me if I'm wrong. I have to give a little more details. I find out, but I remember I was speaking with someone about doing some work for a because you know Law and Order, all of these shows really shoot here. Power. I'll be walking to work and they shooting Power on my block.
Gotcha.
So it's like it's all of these shows are being shot in the city, and but there's like a union or like some type of that you have to get into to where you're like in the rotation to get called for makeup or styling or costume or this or that. So I don't think it's super easy to get into, but I think once you are in it, then you're like heavy rotation. You're getting picked up left and right.
I wonder how you get in it.
That's the next go. Okay, I know someone who was trying to like, you know, wing me in, but that'd be a process. Sometimes people tell you they gon'
They'll loop you and they'll link
and
you
you
and
be
they
out
don't
this
link you.
motherfucking
That's the thing in
room
New York. They always talking about,
circles.
I'm going to link you. I don't even know what that means.
What is a link? Okay. If it ain't a Cuban, I don't want the link. Well, I sound like my mic ain't right.
No, I can hear you though.
You
so
can
you
hear
good.
me?
Mhm.
Maybe it's my headphones.
It might be the headphones, but you good on the mic stuff because I
Okay.
can hear you well. We might be stepping on some chords down.
It's okay, as long as...
That is funny. I'm sorry, I'm still laughing. She said, "Last is a cute."
For real. I'm
sorry.
Gotta switch the requests up. Gotta be more clear on what type of links we're trying to have these days.
As a influencer, a stylist, a buyer, all those are that person that really goes out there and like choose and like set the tone. What is 5? Let's say, what is 5 things that you feel like every woman needs to have in her closet year round, not seasonal?
Year round.
Yeah.
She's calling me, and she got to call me back. She don't even know. Ain't it? She won't just
Pop up in the face.
She would have just popped up. Okay.
Yeah, so 5 things.
5
Because
things.
I usually ask 3, but seasonal. But it's something that is a staple that needs to be in your wardrobe year round. What 5 things would you say?
Okay, I would say a fire, like a really good leather, like a nice leather jacket. I feel like a leather jacket is something that pulls a look together all the time, no matter, and it's throughout the season, you know.
Yeah.
I think you should have. What's the main essential that I would say? It's so many things. I think a fire belt. No, I was gonna say like a good belt, like a good like thick belt, or like a nice chain belt. Because I've been wearing this one chain belt, and it's like just pulling a lot of things together for me. But I think like a good waist belt that also like works in a lot of ways. You know, I have a belt right now over a blazer, but you could also wear it over like an oversized dress, and it creates a different shape.
Right.
Because I think the whole idea about changing your look is just sometimes just creating different shapes within the look. You know.
Gotcha.
You could wear the same thing 3 times, but if you kind of just add a little accessory, take it away, layer it different, it becomes 3 different looks. So I think like a dope, good, thick, solid belt, solid leather jacket, a good hat, whether it's
brim.
like a brim, good brim hat, because that just gives you like, that takes another look, that just gives a whole nother element to your look as well. I think a good like combat boot.
Okay.
I feel like a combat boot. I feel like a good look, like a nice chunky, like just like a dope, just a boot. Like whether even it doesn't have to be a heel. It could be, just like a flat boot or like a heel combat boot. But I feel like that type of boot, again, you can throw that on with anything. Some sweats, some jeans, a dress, a skirt, and it's gonna give you
a pop.
It's gonna give you a pop. So that, and then crazy shades, man. I feel like you gotta have like a little raunchy frame.
Okay, I feel that.
But I could keep going, but I think we're gonna stop at that. So like hat, shade, belt, because I feel like I just gave like a hit.
Well, yeah, you did.
If you
Top
think
to
about
bottom.
it, it's a top to bottom that can go all different ways. You
absolutely.
know, hat, shades, belt, dope jacket,
And a
dope
boot.
boot.
Yeah.
And
5
that-
you heard them. Those are the 5 Brandi Reshee essentials that you need to have in your wardrobe year round.
year round,
And create different shape.
Yep.
And do you think that with certain body types, there is certain shapes that you should stay away from? Like, let's say, I feel like we in the era of the curvy girl. Like all the women, we making sure our waist is snatched and our hips is rounded out. But whether it be plastic or whether it be in the gym or your fat, whatever it is. Whatever but that's
curves
we
you
in
have.
that. What's that? Is that hourglass? That we in that hourglass body. Is there
For sure.
anything for that body type and that body type that women are aspiring that you feel like they could, I don't know, do better? Because right now I just feel like it's like it needs to be fitted, but I feel like it don't need to be. But it's like with that shape, it's like you just trying to show that off. But it's what's another way to accentuate that shape?
So I always say if you are literally like that hourglass shape, I feel like no, you don't always have to wear like spandex everything, you know.
Right.
I feel like that was the direction a lot of people was going, and I'm like, it's not the only way. Actually, I mean, I ain't gonna say that I'm an hourglass, but I do have like big full of. I got these legs need to go down a notch or two, but I got full of legs.
Sis got thighs over here.
Thighs and butt, but then my waist is a little bit smaller. But then, you know, so it's like if you are in that shape, you know, I think crop tops are cool, like loose though, like over, like you could do oversized crop top that showcases that smaller part of you, and then do a baggy jean or like a baggy sweat or a full skirt. Again, I love to do separates. So you do, and then that's also sexy, but it's not tight. You still comfortable, you know.
Right.
I think so accentuating just that part of yourself, you know. Do maybe like showing. I'm really big on giving clavicle, you know. I think clavicle.
Because I'm a shoulder wearing bitch. I'm always like that.
Like, right. I might take a little Susan snip.
Right. I'm like, I'm a shoulder girl. This is my sexiness right here.
It's like you're like the belle of the ball. Like, and I think people, we kind of like don't even like take advantage of like that simple sexuality, that simple little thing about ourselves that makes things look sexy, and everything else could just, you could have on something literally a drapey, flowy dress if you given like this right
shoulder.
Here. And you will just look like breathtaking to a person, you know. So I do think that a no, and I think like for like a curvier woman that's in, let's say if you work in office and business and you have to dress in more business attire. I think that's where a lot of times us curvier girls struggle, because dresses a lot of times are made, shift dresses are a lot of times made for that sort of career path, and it's like there's not a lot of dresses that, or a lot of ways to dress within that that I'm trying to think of whatever it is, that career path. So it's just like you think, oh, I need to go to, let's say Macy's or whatever, wherever people buy little dresses like that, wherever you get these little straight dresses, and then they're not appropriate for your body type, because when you curvy, you can't do straight. It just won't work, because you'll have to buy it 2 sizes bigger just to accommodate your hips, and then everything else is loose. Or if it has stretch, it's gonna fit over your hips, but it's gonna be like baggy. A quick trick though, ladies who are curvy, who already do have dresses like that, depending on how the dress is made, you can twist it. Vivienne Westwood is a queen of doing dresses like where you can put it on and then you can give it a twist.
Wrap
and then
dresses
it kind of it's actually just, it'll be like a pull on, a shift, but it's you twist it a little bit and it kind of gives, and it depending on what the dress looks like, it may or may not work. But if it's a simple shift dress and then you give it a twist, it's basically, it'll wrap around, like it'll be tight. It's like
bias cut.
Yeah, it'll just kind of like create that at your waist. If you have dresses that you just don't want to give up that's like that. But if you curvy, you got to stay away from dresses like that. You'll be better off, like you said, with a wrap dress. DVF is known for doing her little wrap dresses. Or even just like a...
My sister said the struggle. My sister is like that. It's,
it's the struggle, I'm telling you. And it's like, or like A-line. A-line dresses are so beautiful, you know. Give yourself a nice, or belt it, you know. Do a nice belt. But I think... a lot of dresses, when it comes to that business attire look, they are not cut for us curvier girls at all. So I would say
they want you to go in there looking like you straight out of Ann Taylor.
Straight out of Ann Taylor.
And Ann ain't got it.
And okay, I don't know. Where's a picture of Ann Taylor? Okay, I need to see Ann.
What does she look like?
What do Ann look like?
Because Ann don't look like the rest of us going to work every day.
I ain't no motherfucking Ann.
That is funny. Okay, so before we wrap up, I got one more segment, and it's a muse. So if there's anything out there that you feel like, as far as like a exhibit or like a book, or maybe like just a person like that has been like a muse for you and an inspiration, you just want to put it out there, you want people to follow or read or see, that you think will, you know, help other creatives, or just let people see something in a different way. It don't have to necessarily be about fashion either. It could be just something like that you saw and you're like, yo, I wish more people knew about this. Yeah, you know, we inspire and we live to knowledge.
Well, a person that I would say right now, I'm like super excited about their journey and I'm proud of, and they wrote a book she wrote a book and she's super inspirational to me right now. She was inspirational to me 7 years ago when I met her. And it just, it blows my mind to see a person that really, really spoke everything that she wanted into fruition and beyond and accomplished all of these goals. And that is, her name is, what?
You better say it.
I love it. Latoya, you got time today. She's on the live.
Right.
Like, my godmother is a busy woman, so I'm just so excited that she's tuned in. Elaine Welteroff. I always say her last name.
I love her.
Okay,
Yeah.
Elaine is, and I'll just do a quick little backing. I met Elaine. She's like my cousin Brooke, the one that I say used to come visit in Harlem, like one of her best friends. And I'm so fortunate to have a cousin that was connected with some of the New Yorkers early on, you know, to where she was able to introduce me to them. So I met Elaine back when she was working at Ebony.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I had Brooke set up where I could have a meeting with her, went into the office with her, and you know, we sat at this big boardroom table and just talked, you know, and I just told her all of the things I wanted to do. And, you know, it was really early. I was maybe 21, maybe 20. Okay, maybe it's not 21, about 22, whatever, however old I was. I was fresh. I didn't even live in New York. I was living in D.C. still, and I came up to visit and met up with her. And she was super young and just told me how she just she just stalked the editor at Ebony, like kept being so persistent with her to just get a conversation. And her receptionist was like, she's busy. She's like, I did not stop. I kept calling to the point so I finally got a conversation with her. 15 minutes turned into 30 minutes. We got to chat. She said the editor was doing a shoot out because I think she's from like California, Elaine is. And so she got called to assist her on a shoot. Blah blah blah, and ended up getting a call 6 months later about a position with Ebony as I think the beauty and style editor. So
her career has like blossomed. She was on Project Runway.
Oh my God, she's doing Project Runway right now. She was the editor for Teen Vogue. Come on, the first black editor for Teen Vogue. Right. Like,
I need to read her book. I'm glad you brought.
And Elaine, don't kill me. I haven't even read, but she always like reads parts from it with her mom and stuff, and it's just so real, and just to see that she's really literally planted the seed and watered that flower every single day, you know, to grow. And then she's just an amazing person, like, and that is somebody that I look up to and aspire to just follow my dreams in that way with confidence, and just knowing that this is what I'm setting out to do. This is what I'm going to do. And
I'm setting my intentions, and I'm being clear on them.
Flat out. That. And that's what she did early on. So now to see her now doing everything plus more, it's like, yo, this stuff can really happen. And just happen before my eyes.
Yep. I love that. Okay, so, I'm gonna make sure I put that book in the show notes, like as a recommended, like read and stuff for this week, and make sure you guys get it. Yes. Just want to call to action again our two sponsors for this episode: Serenade Apparel, inspired by the culture, created by the streets, made for the people. Now, Brandi, I'm just gonna have you read these words that's on the back of this shirt.
Okay. Yes. Of course. This is really the goal, y'all. This is. We are rich in knowledge, culture, tenacity, purpose, and resilience.
Boom.
Okay? There's nothing else that we need more than all of these things to really, really be our full self.
Absolutely. So make sure you guys shop Street Serenade Apparel. I'll put, of course, all the information on the show notes, and you guys, I'll put all the social media in there, and definitely take off your additional 15% using code The Roses for their new collection, the Re-Up, and the Heartbeat of the Streets collection, and of course 620 Style. Make sure you shop with her. Luxury, comfortable, affordable, urban. It's not even urban brand, but I call 620 style like the luxury with the edge of comfort.
I can't
like,
wait to
it's
check
so
it
dope.
out.
You'll love it. It's amazing. You can take an additional 20% off your order using the code Black Fashion. And guys, thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Brandi. Throw out your social media. How can people keep up with you?
Me. Yes, thank you all for having me. My Instagram is Graffiti Face. It's GRAFFITIFACE.
Graffiti.
Yes. Yeah, and you can also just Graffiti Face. And we ain't gonna do too much.
We'll put that in the show
We'll put
notes
everything
and stuff.
else underneath at the bottom.
Gosh. All right. As I always say, thanks guys for tuning in. Stay black and peace out.
Peace.